Hi, this is Dan with Learning to Smoke, and today I'm cooking tri-tip like a brisket. And I'm partnering up with the good folks at Reynolds Kitchens with their pink butcher paper that I'm going to be using today. So why don't you follow along in the process and see how I put this into action. To start out here, I've got my basket of coals I'm going to do. And if you look closely, you'll see I've got a mix of lump coal and also of briquettes. So I'm going to light this up. What I'm going to do is I use one of these fire starters. And I'm doing this in my drum smoker, if you couldn't tell. Love using the torch, good times. And so you'll see that I'm just keeping this on one side, because when I'm smoking in the drum smoker here, or actually in any kind of grill that I use, I like to light the coals on one side, and then from there they just burn across the way. So instead of lighting 3 different fires in here, I do it just one straight across, because if I do 3 different ones, then it's going to get hot all right away fast. So I'm just doing one side so it'll slowly burn, and I'll have these coals last for the duration of the cook. And then I'll let that burn a little bit, and after I do that, I'll put on my deflector, but we'll get to that point later. This fire's been burning for a little bit now. I'm going to put in some wood chunks. I like going with oak wood, so I'm gonna put some oak right there, and right there. So you'll see I've spaced out the wood chunks, and same thing like with the coal. I light it on one side. I'm expecting it to burn across the basket. So that's why I've got wood chunks conveniently placed, so I can get some even smoke throughout the cook here. And now that I've put that in there, I'm going to put my deflector on, because we want indirect heat. And now I'm going to put the grill grate on. Close this down. What I got here is tri-tip, obviously. This comes from the lower sirloin, bottom sirloin of the cow. And anyway, it has 2 different grains. You'll see that you got grains here and grains here. I've got some decent marbling in here, which is what you're gonna need if you're going low and slow on this. Now, usually when you get a tri-tip, on the back there's like a fat cap. Depends on the butcher you go to, they sometimes trim that off for you. So they trim that off here, which ideally, if you're gonna do tri-tip like a brisket, then you're gonna want to have a fat cap on here. So obviously I don't, so I'm just gonna have to work with what I got. So we're gonna find out how this goes here together. So pretty simple. Just put a salt and pepper based rub on here, which is what I'm doing. Rub that in, make sure to get all sides. So tri-tips are thick, usually about 1 or 2 inches. So make sure you get the sides. And I'll show you a little trick for that here in a minute, to get all the sides instead of just doing it the way I was there for a second. And I don't go too heavy on the seasoning. Well, I guess I will today, a little more than I usually do, because I like the flavor of the tri-tip to stand out. However, since I'm going low and slow for a long time, I will put a little bit more seasoning on there than I typically do. So now, make sure I get the sides. I pick up the meat as you see. See, I had really no seasoning on there. So I'm gonna just dab it on like that. Got some corner there too. And look at that, voila. Okay, got it all done. I'm actually gonna do 2 of these as an experiment. So I'll do the second one here. So if you see in later videos that there's 2 of these on the grill, that's because, well, I have the power of multiplication on my side. All right, well, I'm gonna do the same thing with the second one. So now we're going to take this over to the grill. Follow me. Here we are. Grill's at about 225. That oak smoke is rolling. I'm now gonna put these tri-tip on here. I'll let them smoke like this for a while here. There we go. See you soon. One thing I like to do about once an hour is spritz. Like when I cooking briskets or tri-tip like a brisket in this case. So I like to use a mix of beef broth and Dr. Pepper. That's what I'm doing today. Anyway, I do that about once an hour, and we'll come back to this here soon when it's ready to wrap. It's getting time to wrap this tri-tip like a brisket here, so I'm gonna bust out this Reynolds Kitchens Butcher Paper. Great thing about this butcher paper, always use butcher paper for wrapping meats. Sometimes use foil, but I like the feel of butcher paper because of the way that it lets air get through, keeps your meats nice and tender, but also keeps the bark crisp. So cool thing about this one, about this butcher paper as compared to others, is that it does have a slice cutter, or slide cutter I should say. So I'm gonna roll this out, I don't know, probably around 4 feet or so, and I'll get this in shot here, but I'm gonna use the slide cutter. Look at that, that's a perfect cut. Because to be honest with you, I never get a straight cut when I'm using scissors. And a cool little hack is when you get this box, you can take this flap and just tuck it in when you're done with it. Anyway, so with that, let's bring that tri-tip out and let's wrap that bad boy. Now that we've hit temp around 160 degrees, I'm going to remove these and wrap. So we got the tri-tip right here. Gonna take the meat thermometer out of it. And now, here's what we're gonna do to wrap. Need a side angle of this. Smells great, by the way. But we're going to, I like to fold it in a little bit like this. Get this part wrapped, tucked over like that. And as I got that, fold it in like this, keep folding over like that. Just like that. In fact, this part here will tuck in. Like that. Tuck that over. That side like that. And this side will tuck in over here. Actually, I want it tighter, so there we go. Tri-tips are different. They're not like regular brisket when you, they're just more like a rectangle, whereas this is more like a triangle. So anyway, gonna keep that tight. I'm gonna put that back on the grill. Yep. Now that we've got these tri-tips like brisket wrapped, we're gonna put them on the grill like that. And you can see that they're wrapped like boomerangs here. Well, they look like boomerangs, just wrapped up. Anyway, gonna put those on the grill. Gonna remove them when they get to about 200 degrees. So while we're cooking this tri-tip like a brisket, I want to talk to you about this Reynolds Kitchens pink butcher paper. I love this stuff for a few reasons. Number one, great for barbecuers like you and I. People who like to go low and slow when they cook. So that's under 300 degrees when you're smoking meats. So you want to use butcher paper to wrap the meat because it helps retain the moisture of the meat, but also lets the air flow through so you can develop that awesome bark that you want in your meat when you're cooking longer periods of time. Another thing I love about this butcher paper is that it has a slide cutter. This bad boy right here, pretty freaking awesome. So let me show you, for example, I'll just pull a little bit of butcher paper here, and I'll take this and I'll slide this straight across. Straight line. Love that. I never get straight lines when I cut with scissors. So that comes automatically with the box. A couple of things that I love about this as well is that it is FDA compliant, so you know it's legit, but also paper is strong and resistant. And those heavy briskets, just know that you got that peace of mind that the paper is going to withhold that. So anyway, just thought I'd let you know. Now, back to the barbecue. It has been 8 hours and 40 minutes, and these things are now done. So we're going to take these off, put them in a cooler, and open them up about an hour. Here we go. Let's unwrap this. See how it turned out. Look at that. Let's see where we're at here. With tri-tip, you have 2 grains. You have grains going this way and grains going this way. So we're going to start slicing from down here. See what we think here. Thanks for watching, and thanks to Reynolds Kitchens Butcher Paper for sponsoring this video. Till next time.